You know, nowadays, developers and users do not have time at all. You don't have time. I also don't have time. But in case you have an application whereby at all time you need to manually execute tasks, let me give you an example here. Let's say you have an application whereby you have a subscribe to newsletter feed, and in your page, it is at the bottom. So what user need to do here is to pass in its email address, and you're going to send an email, let's say weekly, monthly, daily. It depends. Now, would you do that manually? Well, that is going to waste a whole lot of time. Don't do it. If you have been doing that, stop it today. I introduce you to Hangfire, an ultimate time saver for developers, letting you handle scheduled jobs, recurring tasks, and long-running operations with ease. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can integrate Hangfire into your .NET project, explore its powerful dashboard, and see it in action by scheduling and executing tasks automatically. So whether you are building a web API, Blazor application, or even MVC project, Hangfire will transform the way you handle background jobs. Are you ready? Then stick around. And also don't forget to give thumbs up to this video if you've learned something here. Doing that helps this channel. Let's get to it. I've already made a video on how we can run a papercut SMTP server on Docker. So I'm going to build this on that video or that project, let me say. Now, this project or that project actually can help us send an email. Let me just go through. If you want to learn the whole thing from scratch to finish, I've made a video of that already, and it's there. So I'll also put the link in the video description. If you want to look at how you can do it, fine, you can check the video description for it. But in case you have any service that you want to call automatically or execute it by Hangfire, then you can also follow along with this. Now, there is a service that we did. We created a controller, then we created a Docker Compose file. That is why we created an image, which is the ChangeMaker Studio, which is coming from the papercut SMTP. Then we run this on the port of 8080. And also here we can access our port, which is normally our SMTP server. So maybe if you don't want to run this SMTP server locally, you can use Ethereal, which is also SMTP server, which gives you a dummy email and a password that you can send email there. You can also use it in case you want to do that. I've also made a video on that, so I'll also check the video description. I'll put it there. You can watch any of them. Now, we created a controller and we installed this package. We installed this Fluent Email, the SMTP, which allows us to connect or send email to our SMTP server. Then in our controller, what we did was we sent a message. That is it. We created this payload, which is the record, and it takes in an email. That's the receiver's email, subject, and our message. We pass it down, and now here send response, which is coming from the fluentemail.com. And we can send response from here, and we pass in to subject and our body. This is quite simple, isn't it? A few steps and we are good. Now, so if I run this, let's see how this works when you run this project. This app runs fine. Fantastic. But we are not having the UI because we haven't configured to use our API doc of Scala. So maybe we can do that so we can have this nice interactive UI. So I'm going to install package, which is Scala package, scala.ASP.NET Core. I've also made a video how you can create API documentation with this Scala. So you can also check the playlist beneath this video if you want to learn more. So that is a scala.ASP.NET Core. Let's get this package installed. When we are done installing, don't close this, leave it there because you're going to install another package. That is what we're going to be using, especially as Hangfire. So we're going to install that. Now let's go to properties, and in from this properties launch settings, it defaultly is set to false from launch from browser. So override that and I make it as true. And from our launch URL, you want to start from Scala and now version 1, which gives us the nice UI. Go to your program.cs file, and now where we have this middleware pipeline, we're going to pipe this. So use scalar, but I think I normally add a reference first because when you do that, it becomes easier for you to integrate it. That is scalar.ASP.NET and then if I go to app session, I can map it easily. That is all. Let's run this and check it out. So that is this one. Let me open it wide and you can see this. So if I click on send email, all I need to do here is to click on test this, and to provide this email to this user. So let's say admin@admin.com. And also from there, let me just, that is my subject. So I have this. Now if I click on send, I must have email send. That's a note 200, right? And now successful is through, and etc. Okay, now let's go to my paper cut SMTP, and you can see I have this email here. You check it. So testing email, and I click on it, and I have to my YouTube viewers. Great. So now let's say this is working. So if you are integrating Ethereum or any other SMTP server where you can connect or create an email service, make sure you test it out and see this is working or this works. Now in case it works, then we're going to pass on this email. Then we're going to execute this task all the time. We're going to execute it automatically. Let's say daily or minutely. No, I'm not sure minutely. You're going to use minutes. But let's say in this case for demo, we're going to change the time to minutes. But maybe for you can make it as weekly or monthly or daily. Any one, you can choose it. Let's see how we can do that with the Hangfire. So I'm going to close this. Let's go and install the Hangfire package. So go here and now let's install this Hangfire package. So here we need a Hangfire package itself. So let's see whether we can get that package. Yeah, do you have yours? This is mine, Hangfire. That is a 1.8.717. Get this package installed. Then we also need Hangfire.ASP.NET Core. That is this one, not this core. This one, make sure you have an ASP.NET Core. Get this package installed with the same version of 1.8.17. Okay, now you see we having data where Hangfire has a default data that needs to keep it, and now that is what you're going to be using to perform your tasks. Now we have a lot of database that we can use, SQL Server, we have Postgres SQL, but let's use memory storage since we're having just a single application, and because this memory storage is very fast. So let's use Hangfire.memory storage, and just a 1.8.11. Let's get this package installed. So we have 3 packages installed: Hangfire itself, ASP.NET Core as an extension, then we have memory storage as a database. Good. So now that we have this, we go to our program.cs file, and that is where we're going to register Hangfire service. How do we do it? Let's go to before or even after a Fluent email configuration. We come here, and maybe if you are saying, well, if you haven't watched that video, you're thinking about this, I just created a section in this app settings, and that is where you have this. Okay, so there is a port, and there's my email and from, etc, etc. Okay, we are not much actually focus on that because we want to focus on running the tasks using Hangfire. So let's have a builder.services.add Hangfire. Then we specify configuration, and in that we need to set the data compatibility level, which matches exactly with the level that, not the level, the version that we have installed. And also we're going to be using an assembly name for types realizer, which actually going to help in visualizing stuff. And the last part here, we're going to be using our memory storage, and that's where Hangfire going to keep its default or required settings or setups, and that's what we're going to be using to start working for application. Good. All right, so that is what we need to do. You can see from here we are specifying the service, and here we specify what I told you. These are the options that we need to configure for, and the version here should match exactly with the version that we installed. Bear in mind that we installed 1.8. Then we're going to be using simple serializer, which these are used for serializing, and then we're going to use a database management, and that's a memory management, or that's a memory storage. So in case you want to use SQL Server, or if you install Postgres, then you can also specify that in here. But since we install in memory, we can use this here. We need to use a Hangfire server, and then since this provides us a decent dashboard, we want to configure the route. So we say Hangfire /Hangfire, which will direct us straight to our dashboard. Good. So now that we are done with this, what we need to know here is we need to go in there and start scheduling our stuff. Now we can do that in the program here, or we can do it in our controller. So guys, when you check our controller, we are having a payload coming in, that's a send email, which takes in two subject and our message. As soon as you receive it, you want to start the recurring job. Okay, so I think we need to extract this. Let's put this in a class so we can register this class. So down here, we can say that there's our public class. We can say this is email service. So normally we need to create an email service. And now with this email service, let's specify the Fluent email. That's an interface, Fluent email. And in here, we can go, or we can create a method first, which is an async task. This task can return service send response or whatever. We can decide to leave it like that. Then let's say this is send news letter. So the email that is coming like a subscription, you subscribe, and then we can go ahead and now send you that. So let's have our send mail. This is our model, send mail, and then send mail. Let's have this open, and then we can go ahead and then grab this, then paste it down. You see? So this is an email service. Now with this that we have, it means we have created an email service. So that is this. So we need to go up and change this to this Fluent email. And now this mail is coming from this, so we can use this, and that. That is quite a simple step, right? So we are just moving this from here and up to this. You can say this is sent, and let's remove this. Now the main thing, or the main thing that we want to do here is how to issue this, how to make this work. It's quite simple. We can use recurring job. Now see, so we have recurring job. Then we can have add or update. Now add or update is going to add it for the first time. The next time I'm going to update it. You see? So there's a recurring job. It's going to execute this over and over again. Now add or update. And here, what do we need to do? We need to specify a job ID. Now job ID is very important. It is needful when you want to wait for a certain job to finish before you start another job. We are not venturing that. Okay, so by what you can give a job ID. This is send newsletter. Aside from that, we need to specify this, and that is what we need to call our method. So that is, let's inject our email service here, and then we can now call this email service. We can say email service dot then send newsletter, and I'll pass it on this mail. That is all. Very simple thing. You see? So we are done with that. Now, when we have this, we need to then go and specify the, you see, cron expression. So we can use the default one created, or we can specify, create your own. Now we have cron, and now this cron gives you access to a list. So do you want to execute this daily? Day interval, which is deprecated, so it's not recommended to use it. So we have daily, we have hour interval, that's an hourly, we have minutely, so let's use every minute, meaning every minute we want to execute this. You see, that's what we are doing. This is quite simple. Okay, so now that we have this an action result, we're going to run this. And now when we run it, let's see what's going to happen. But before this is going to work, we need to register this, isn't it? So go to your program.cs, and here let's register the service. So that's an email service. We register it as scope. So we save that. Then we can now go ahead and run this again. So this is running over here. Let's open a new tab. You can grab this. Open a new tab from this. Let's paste it, and I will go in for Hangfire. Hangfire, it is an extension, and you can see it has opened the Hangfire dashboard. Nice dashboard. Now you see we have jobs, we have retries, we have recurring jobs, we have servers. Now for servers, we have only one server. That's my server here, right? Then we have a recurring job. So currently we are not having a recurring job because we haven't called the endpoint. Now check, so you see from here, we have servers as 1. That's what we've seen. Jobs and retries and recurring jobs, it is 000. Now don't worry. Now as soon as we start with this, you're going to have 1 as a recurring job. Check it out. So I'm going to click on this. Then here, let's specify this. This is user@user.com. That is 2. Then as subject here, it is, let's say, testing recurring job. And now let's say this is welcome to my newsletter. Hey viewers. Now I have this, right? Now I want to send this every minute. I want to send it to this person every minute. All that I need to do here is I need to click it once. You automate it once, and it's going to continue on forever and ever. You see? So click on send, and now let's switch. We see we have 200 as okay. That is sent. Now if I check here, recurring job, you see we have 1. That is it. Now let's open our paper cut. And now here we are expecting to see this within a minute. So if I open it widely, let's check it. Go back. We don't have it. There's an old one, right? Now let's wait. So let's have some discussion whilst we wait a minute for the first email to drop. Then we're going to also wait another minute again for the second email to drop. So the number of minutes that we're going to last here, we're going to have the same number of email. This is coming from application from our cron job using Hangfire. Let's wait and see. So whilst you're waiting, you can, when you're working with MVC, you can also integrate this. If you're working with Blazor application too, you can also integrate it. For Web API, that is what you've seen here. Okay, it is not only the add or update. You can schedule job, which will fire and forget. You can just execute it once, and that is all. You can also schedule job, wait for some time before you execute it. And we have the recurring job. So today we are looking at the recurring job, and whoa, we have 1 dropped. You can see testing a recurring job. Now if I click on it, you can see we have welcome to my newsletter. Hey viewers. Now let's go back a minute. This is a few seconds ago. Within a certain minute, we're also going to have another one. Now when we check our console, which is running, check it out from here. So this has been dispatched. The dispatch has started, isn't it? We have another one dropped. So another minute, you can see a minute ago, another minute, we have the same thing. So when you have this, do not manually send letters. Again, never. Use Hangfire. Okay? Automate things, and that is all. Now you are now DevOps, right? You can automate things and make it work using this cron job. And it's an amazing package that we can use. I'm integrating an API to send messages. It's not about sending only this emails. It's not about only emails. You can log if you want to log based on a specific based on the time range, or even day or month. You can log it. You can configure this to log it. Any service at all that you want to execute this with sequentially, you can do that with this cron job using this Hangfire. So it's not about only email. Any other service at all that you think you want to operate with, you can do it with that. Let's wait for the last one, then we end our lesson today. Oh, we do have it. All right, so that is it for this video. I believe you guys enjoyed it, as I enjoy as well. If you did so, then don't forget, it's very important, thumbs up, give it to me. And also subscribe if you haven't done so. Check our playlist because we have a lot of informative content for you. Purposely for .NET and Blazor. All right, thank you, and catch up again. Until then, take care.